So I'm gonna make a video on a character that I feel like I hated but sooner loved. No, it is not Pin. Pin is well kind of terrible in the second season and slightly annoying in Teapot early episodes. And no, I will never be nice to Leafy. I would only be nice to Leafy if she was the only character. But Flower is one of my overall favorites. Even if she got derailed in her newer season, I still enjoy her more than Leafy. But unlike Ice Cube, where I don't care for her in any season she's in, aside from the last pick here, she's pretty good in every other season. And hey, if this video actually does well, I'll maybe do some on characters that compete in every season, like Pin or Coinster or Tennis Ball.
Loathe entirely.
I know post-split Flower is the most talked about character to death, but I don't really care. She's kind of flat as a character and really bland. It's kind of weird how she technically acts naive until the finale, and the more I think about post-split, the more I think her arc isn't really an arc and just badly writing. It's weird. How did post-split and Teapot exist? And it's crazy how people say Teapot is just a better post-split cause the episodes don't take 70 billion years to release. But anyways, Flower this season sucks. Granted, Flower has a few funny moments, like the whole changing petals whenever Taco was talking to her, and any scene with her and Lollipop. Those scenes is funny, and like, BFB28 has some good moments. Then there's stuff like BFB29 and BFB30 and a lot of scenes that pick and choose when they want to show their bias. No other BFDI season besides maybe pre-split had a bias for a certain character. Flower sucks. The scene where she says "I really won, didn't we?" or whatnot made me feel more nothing than sad, and considering Inanimate Insanity had 3 great finales and Suitcase I don't also like, at least Suitcase didn't have a personality shift that made no sense. She was always kind-hearted from the start, so there you go. I'm nice to Suitcase, and if any Suitcase fans are watching this, you guys are pretty chill and cool, but Flower in post-split sucks. It's crazy how they barely did nothing with Gelatin close to the finale. Like, how are you gonna do a finale but push a bias towards Flower? Flower might be my least favorite winner in all of Object shows cause for the fact she was kind of forced to change. Balloon personality shifted worked because they actually showed scenes with him and they didn't have a bias for him. So yeah, post-split Flower sucks. I don't think anyone will talk about her 5 years after BFB end. That applies to anything in post-split. I hear more about Inanimate Insanity 2 than post-split. Oh, and this one joke I really love.
Huh?
Pre-split Flower I really enjoy. She's funny, got that sass that she has in the first 2 seasons, and best of all, her and Ruby are pretty funny when they actually have screen time. So why her and why not someone like Fanny or Match? Well, for starter, Fanny wasn't much in pre-split and Match has a short time in pre-split, but yeah, she's like the second best on her team. Match that is, and like Flower, the reason I prefer her here over post-split is cause she has fragments of her old self. It's not she's super nice this season, she's got fragments of that, but she isn't like BFDI Flower, where she would murder people for not liking her. She's sure evil, since she got Black Hole to open the jar, but it's like BFDI where she was mean like that, and if she was like this for the entire season, I would enjoy her more, and I really like that her and Ruby interact a lot. They interact a little bit in BFDIA. Ruby just reviving Flower out of nowhere and whatever they implied Ruby was doing in BFB21. Anyways, Flower this season is awesome. I think she actually is entertaining. I think it's funny how people say she wasn't popular when she was mean, when she got a lot of votes to rejoin in BFDI. A lot of votes to rejoin in BFDI and was pretty popular in the BFB popularity poll. Maybe if we were talking Foldy or Nelly, characters that don't have much to them overall, but Flower does have a lot of it, and it sucks that people just go, "Oh, she's mean and was never good," and her being Leafy without what made Leafy actually good in BFDI. Pre-split Flower, I love, especially on the team she's on, and I honestly like the callback to BFDI 1 with the non-slip shoes. That was neat. I also like to mention how pre-split Flower is funny. I wish she had more screen time. I'm glad she's not on a team like Better Name Than That, where she would get no screen time since the writers love golf ball. But Ruby and her ain't awesome, and I feel like this is the most likable Flower or the most balanced version of Flower. Not too mean and not too nice. And it's genuine how funny she is.
I was acting.
BFDI Flower is funny, and it's funny how people say she's not liked when she's mean, but like she was voted to rejoin and like she was gonna be in BFDI if she wasn't dead, and I would gladly take her over Ice Cube. And it's funny to know she's the first and last person to be eliminated, and the short time she has in BFDI is great. It's funny that her and Fiery barely interact in post-split despite being on the same team, but that's the syndrome of Fiery in post-split. Flower in BFDI is just like Fiery in the first season. Both really peak. I think it helps that sure she's mean and they over-exaggerate it, but it actually works. I feel like it's like Leafy in post-split but actually entertaining and not annoying. I feel like what makes Flower here work is the way she bounces off characters, especially Leafy, and the fact she afraid of bugs and they actually remember. I think Flower in BFDI is why I don't hate her as much as Leafy. Granted, I hate when people defeat Leafy as saying she was traumatized and that's why she's a jerk, and not because the writers are terrible at writing her. Anyways, Flower is great. I am also glad she got further than Rocky and Ice Cube, so she's really great, and my only gripe is I wish she wasn't the first eliminated and it was maybe Woody, since Woody in BFDI was pretty nothing. BFDI Flower is the best for what little she has. She only appears mainly in BFDI 11 and then they basically force her to die or be put in a hospital rather than just saying she died. Like, you know, she's a perfect balance of her BFDI side and her BFB side, and I wish she was the host instead of the Bugs or the tiny loser Chambers, since by BFDI 17, they have balloons to duct tape everyone and Flower hosting would be neat. Her and Ruby is great. The more I think about Flower, the more I kind of ship and enjoy their friendship a lot more than most people should, cause it's actually cute. Something I thought I would never say about a character, but on topic, her hosting in this episode is pretty entertaining, and it's funny how the challenge is to get her petals. Am I saying that right? It's kind of funny. So you know, BFDIA is peak, and unless season 6 changes, which I doubt Flower will be in if she's doing her fashion thing, but they could. OGA literally won season 1 and competed in season 3 anyways, so who knows. And like in Total Drama, there was characters that competed that won, like Coiny and Beth and Lightning, the other Lightning, the one who is evil and mean. Anyways, Flower is great, and S tier in every season except post-split. She's like H tier, maybe G tier, and it's annoying how people misunderstand Flower. I also wanna add how her being in the hospital makes no sense. They couldn't just let her run away from Bugs, but no. I mean, they had Fury recover Leafy, but they just did that to explain why he was in the cage in BFDIA and to make Fury bland again, sadly, and to appease the 50 million Fury and Leafy shippers, which I am not one of. Anyways, Flower peaks here, and she should have hosted BFDI 12 and 14 and just make a better reason for why BFDI 13 didn't have a challenge. She is funny here, and Queen Flower being a recommended character in BFB is kind of funny.